So, would you rent or buy a house? I'm curious to hear from audience. Before I answer, which one is the best one? Tell me, would you rent or would you buy a house? Which one would you prefer? Hey Jay, hey Arpan, how are you guys? Brampton, Montreal, awesome. Welcome to my channel. So let me know, would you like to buy a house or rent a house? What would you prefer? Rent or just type in rent or buy? Hey Punit, how are you, buddy? So I'm just curious to hear your thoughts. Rent or buy? Rent or buy? From Mississauga, awesome. I've been from New Brunswick. Bye, bye, bye. I love that. Bye, awesome. Sha, bye. Okay, okay. I've been bye. So everyone is on my side. That's why you're on my channel. I love that. So yeah, I don't get it. Why you would like to don't overpay. I love that. That's 100% true. Love that. So one of the reason I think why renters stay renter forever. I think you don't either one you don't save enough money, or two you don't qualify for a mortgage, or three where the city that you're living in were freaking expensive to buy and you don't look out of the box. So that could be the reason why you stay a renter. So that's why I can see the advantage of renting. Yeah, at least you don't have to worry about big mortgages. Buyer's market right now. Jamin, yes, hopefully it will become a buyer's market. That's what, as an investor, always inside me as an investor waiting for the buyer's market. Unfortunately, still it's a seller's market in a lot of Ontario. Nobody will give you mortgage loan if you're a new immigrant, have no full-time job. So that option only left in renting initially. Yeah, Sam, I agree with you 100%. I was a renter. That's a great point. So when you don't have credit, when you don't have money, yeah, of course, the renting is the best option because you can find a place for you don't have to worry about any mortgage part. You just need to pay. You need a roof to live, or you can rent, then buy cash flowing property, or you can rent. That's a good point. Yeah. So at least you have some asset working for you. Love that. Great points. Love to see those comments coming in. So when I was like really brand new, even like after I got my full-time job, after I was working, after I got my permanent residency, um, it, not many people actually told me that you should buy a house. That's surprising because I see some stats. I read some article in Canada, more than 60 or 65%, something around that, says that they're renters. Like more than 60-65% of people are renter. That surprised me, and it's going up. The rent number of renters in North America is going up. The ownership is coming down. So I think one of the big reason is people either cannot afford it or don't have savings, because we are in a consumer world. We are just buying everything. Yeah, good for us as investors. That's 100%. I think it will continue to. It will continue to, because think it this way. When you're sitting on your computer, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you are, you see all these ads asking you to buy this, buy that, buy that, buy that. So after you buy all those things, and then what money left for you on your pocket to buy a house? So that's why I see one of the reason why the amount of renters are going up. Is it a good thing? Temporarily, yes, but long term, your money you're just literally taking from your pocket and throwing out of the window. So, guys, and in the meanwhile, feel free to input your questions. I just thought I would share my insight on buying side, and buying and renting side. But if you have any other questions related to investing or buying your first house, anything related to real estate or personal questions, feel free to ask. I'm happy to answer. For next 10 to 15 minutes, you got free consulting for me. So, or you rent and then, okay. Yeah. So, but whereas buying, the challenge with the buying is you need money upfront and you need to qualify for mortgage. But once you qualify and once you have enough down payment, now instead of paying rent, which is gone, now you're paying your property mortgage down every year. So all of a sudden, after 20 years or 30 years, you have a property that has no mortgage. So at that point, you are sitting probably on a $500,000 or $1 million, like many people in Toronto, Vancouver, or even in Windsor, who purchased properties like 10, 20, 30 years ago. They have free and clear properties that are like, now 300, 400, 500. So that could be your piggy bank that you're saving your money. But don't over leverage yourself if you don't have enough solid financial support. Don't buy $1 million property and sit on it and work 2 jobs. That's my honest opinion. What kind of people comprise of majority of renters in Windsor? Good question. They're actually mixed. A lot of immigrants recently started to move in. Again, right now the COVID is the unique situation. I would keep the COVID aside. Before that, the majority of the tenant profile is like students, and on top of that, immigrants. A lot of Middle Eastern families who are moving from different countries, and also lot of like pretty much people who are moving from bigger cities, and a lot of blue collar jobs, who are working for all this Chrysler, different automotive industry, and people who are working in government jobs, police, and city banks. So a lot of different sector, and also a lot of retirees. That's another heavy renters in Canada. Do you know any consultant who would offer you mortgage loan without even checking your salary, employment on for? So, Sam, you're asking for a lottery win. Unfortunately, without checking your credit history, without having an employment status, without having a credit history, 5%, 10% down is impossible with the traditional loans. But if you're really desperate to buy, go look for a private homeowner who is looking to sell. This is called vendor take back. That's one of the creative way that you can buy a property. You don't have to qualify. But if the seller is willing to lend you money, so technically you buy the property from the seller and he will become your mortgage, your bank. So convince him. I got one of my property for 15% down, no bank, nothing. He hold the mortgage for me. So that's a possible, Shah. Even if you have, okay, that's good. You have good credit history, so sellers want that. Vendor take back is one way. Private money, that's another thing. It will cost you more money. You have to probably pay 8%, 9%, 10%, and lender will give you 90%. But even in that case, private lenders, some people might want you to show some kind of a security for them. Yeah, there are ways. You just need to find them. Wondering what would be the minimum income requirement with no debt and good score to qualify for mortgage. Minimum income required with no debt, good credit score to qualify for mortgage. So it depends on how much mortgage payment you want, and depends on which lender you're looking for at, because every lender have a different criteria. The income to debt ratio. So the mortgage agent has to do a calculation. But let's say if you're making minimum income, probably you might qualify for not that much, probably 200,000 or maybe 250,000, just my guess. But I would say, you know what, have a call with the mortgage person. That's why they're willing to give you a pre-approval. So your first step, call your bank or any mortgage broker you don't know, or if you don't know, call a realtor and ask for a mortgage broker contact and get a pre-approval. They'll tell you how much exactly you will qualify for. I have a question that with regards LLC or corporation. Is it wise to buy first rental property as a corporation? And will the bank give me mortgage considering do you buy using incorporations? Okay, so LLC, actually in Canada, we call them corporation. So I have three properties on my personal and 4 properties on corporation. Again, my answer might not apply for your situation. So always consult an accountant to give you a clear answer based on your profile. But I'll give you my opinion why in some case I chose corporations, in some case I chose personal. So the biggest advantage if you do it on corporation is one, the liability. So if any of your tenant, and in this country, which could happen, maybe it's like 1 out of 100 people will get through this situation, which is if your tenant or someone sue you, someone fell down on your house or something happened, and they sue you for damages. So those are the cases where now they sue the corporation. So whatever the assets that corporation owns will be, they'll be working on that to compensate if it's crazy. So again, we are talking about worst case scenarios. That's number one. Number two, for tax benefits. If you have a family member who has low income, where you can pay some dividends, some money from it, where you show them they are working for that corporation, collecting the rents or whatever. They're the one who is actually finding the properties. So to take some tax advantages. Also, like, you can defer your tax returns. If you're making income on your personal property, you have no way other than paying the taxes for that year for the income you made on your personal income. So let's say for your job, just like your job, if you're making 100,000 that year, you have to pay taxes on 100,000. If you're making 100,000 and plus you have 2 properties on personal name, and each property making, let's say, net income $1,000, so $1,000 per year, let's say. So now your total personal income became 100 plus 101,000. So now it's like 101. So you pay taxes on the 101. So that means you're paying higher tax on that income, net income you're making on that property, if it's on the personal. Whereas on the corporation, whatever the dividend you're taking, you pay personal taxes on that one. And whatever the amount left on the corporation, if you're not taking the money out, you just pay the corporation taxes and you can reinvest. So that's one of the reasons why I chose for 4 properties corporation, because my personal income started to go very high. All my sales side so far was personal income. So my personal income is high. And if I have extra income from rental income, now I have more income. So I have to pay taxes that year. I would rather defer my taxes and invest that money instead of paying all the taxes right away. So again, that's my personal way. And you might be in a different income situation, so better talk to an accountant. If you're making really solid income and you don't need all the money that year, personally, in that situation, I would recommend corporation. Hope that helps. If it helps, hit that thumbs up button. I see a lot of people live, but I don't see any thumbs ups. Guys, if this is helpful, do me a written favor. For this, my 20-30 minutes time, why don't you do me that written favor? Hit that thumbs up button. It just helps. Thank you, brother. I just joined. Sorry if you already answered, but it's hard to get a mortgage for a brand new registered corporation for income property. Good question. Yes. So if when I bought my property, my corporation was brand new. So whenever the brand new corporation, doesn't matter if it's a brand new or if you have some income, most likely the lenders want you to personally guarantee that mortgage. So the lender want you to personally guarantee that corporation, that whatever the property that you're buying. So at the end, you qualify for the mortgage, but still you buy under corporation. That's what I did. Only few lenders does that. Nowadays, one of the, like right now, out of 4 properties that I have on corporation, 3 of them are with CABC. They're really good at corporations. I know CABC and also RBC. But talk to a mortgage broker; he will be able to help you with that. So corporations is a good way, especially if you have, if you're making more than you want, so you can use for reinvestment purpose, pay less taxes. So yeah, it's little challenging because not many lenders do that, but it's doable. Hope that helps. If it does, hit that thumbs up. Did I miss any other questions here? So going back to, if you're just joining, tell me if you would buy or keep renting. Let me know, what would you prefer, buy or rent? Comment below. And I'm looking for a property. I live and rent out other unit. I would live in rent out. Yeah, if you're looking in Windsor, reach out to us. I'll put my website here. You have the contact number and everything. You can reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to help you guys. Story.com. Here you go. Here's my website. Reaching out. Awesome. Bye. For sure. For sure. Yeah, when I was really new, when I came to Canada as a student, I was renting because I have no other option. I was renting like 2 bedroom apartment, but 6 of us sharing all the unit, which was like only $300 on me. So obviously I cannot buy at that time. I don't qualify and I didn't know anything about real estate. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I would have known before. I would have tried for creative financing, I guess. I don't know. But what would you do if you, now you know what you know with the real estate, you know you can buy properties for creative, in a creative way? Would you buy or still rent? When did you buy your first property? Vijay Kumar Reddy, Jackie Reddy. Vijay Kumar Reddy. Aha, namaste, ఎలా ఉన్నావు తమ్ముడు? That's okay. So when did you buy your first property? I got my first property in 2017 March, which is 3 years ago. Actually, before I got my permanent residency, I was working full time. I was still on PR, but I literally had to talk to so many lenders, and finally one lender said, yes, I can lend you, because you have been working in Canada for last 2 years and I see that your PR is under process. So they approved me. That's how I got my first property. Just got one. Awesome, Vijay. Congratulations. Ekada? Windsor lona, Toronto lona, GTA lona, ACT lo? Yudi. Hey Yudi, how are you? I was just asking, if you just joined, let me know, would you buy a house or rent a house? If you would rent, I'm curious, why would you rent? Oshawa, GTA. Awesome. Congratulations once again. So if you would prefer to rent, I'm curious, what kind of mindset goes in for people when they're really renting for long run. I just want to know. So let me know. I spoke with many mortgage advisors. They are saying that if you're working on full-time basis, then it's easy process. After 3 months joining, then they can approve. Yep, that's true. However, if you're self-employed, then you have to wait for 3 years. Is that true? No. I'm self-employed for 1 year, 8 months, and I was able to get a mortgage. So some lenders consider 2 years self-employment income. Some lenders, if you're exceptionally doing well, they consider 1 year, 1.5 year as well. But again, it depends on case by case. So most likely, I know standard is like you need at least 2 years self-employment income. What's up? Did you get hold of different mortgage agent? Does shopping around affect credit score? Good question. I've been actually not. I'm surprised not many people ask me about this. So first of all, it's good to get hold of a mortgage broker. That way, mortgage broker has access to different lenders. Initially, I spoke to different lenders, and again, if you do credit checks like 1, 2, 3, or 4 times, generally your credit score maybe will be affected by 4, 5, or maybe 20 points max, or maybe 30 points, or maybe 50 points. That's it. That's not a big impact you're going to have if you do multiple credit checks. But if you do multiple credit checks and multiple people reject you, and also you're not paying if you miss any payments and you don't have any credit cards or any line of credits that you're not using regular basis, and you're not paying back on time, then your credit score will impact. But 1, 2, 3 credit checks would not really impact. I do like 4, 5 credit checks every year on my credit report, and I still have like 750, 800. And sometimes I missed one of my payment, and then back again started to pay on time. Within 6 months, I started to pay on time, and I started to pay all the payments. I try to keep more than 50% on my credit cards, line of credits, so my credit scores started to go up. So you got to be a little bit careful. Thanks, mate. You're very welcome. Renting can make sense in short term for flexibility, but long term, nah. Good point, Clark. Welcome to my channel. Guys, if you don't know Clark is also a real estate agent here in Windsor, part of my team, who is crushing it in helping investors. So say hi to him. Yeah, and I'm curious, guys. So if anyone's still renting, let me know in what situation you're renting. I'm just curious. If you still haven't got your first property, what's stopping you to buy your first property? Let me know. And if you're just joining the live, would you prefer renting or buying? Let me know in the comments. I'm just curious. And feel free to hop on your any questions related to investing or any questions related to buying your first property or selling your property, anything that can help that been bothering you for a while, feel free to ask. If you don't ask, no one can help you. If you ask, you'll get help. That's how I started. I started to ask questions for some of my good friends whom I made here in Windsor. So yeah, going back to that rent versus buying house in Canada, the biggest expense in anyone's life in Canada is like surprisingly rent. Like if you make $4,000, literally in any city, at least 25 to 40% is your rent, which is like major chunk of your income. I'm like, I don't get it, giving that money away for someone and not getting it back ever. That's why for me it doesn't make sense to rent in long run. Only in short term in specific spaces where you don't have any option other than just renting, or your job is really moving very very often. Even in that case, I just buy the property and rent that out and live in a rental. That way at least someone is paying for my mortgage and I'm paying for someone's mortgage. I would prefer renting only if my mortgage plus utilities are more than my rent plus utilities. Even still, if you have to pay a little bit more, I'm just curious. Let's say your mortgage plus utilities are $2,000 and your rent plus utilities is $1,500. So your paying extra $500 for your own house, whereas rent 1,500, everything is gone into drain. So I don't know. I'm just curious. For me, it doesn't make sense. I couldn't digest for more than 3 years when I was in Canada. Like for first 3 years, wow. Actually, first 2 years, it didn't really made any impact for me because I was paying only $300. But after I got married, after my wife came joined me here, all of a sudden now I have to have a individual apartment, and my individual apartment rent was like I believe $950 something at that time with Skyline Apartments. So it was like $950, and I was making like $4,000. So almost like 25% of my income. I'm like 25% gone for rent, and my car payment was like mortgage $300, insurance another 300, and gas and other expenses probably. So my 25% is for rent, 25% is my car. No savings left. It didn't really made sense to me. How would you join investor club? What would be criteria? How to join investor club? Um, so our investor club probably just answer the questions on Facebook group. Unfortunately, because of the COVID, we still haven't started the in-person club. Only reason I'm renting right now just because I'm a new immigrant. Came in February this year. Wow, Sam, that's awesome, man. You started to think about buying from the year you came to Canada. That's fantastic. Kudos to you. Obviously, you'll become a homeowner pretty soon. I started to think after like 4 years or 5 years. I came in 2012 and I bought my first property in 2017, which is like 5 years after. So you're way ahead. Kudos. Just don't let that die. Keep finding the answer until you get it. Not decided yet where to settle down in Canada. I've been. That's a good concern to have. That's really good concern to have. But wherever you're living, if your mortgage, if your property prices are reasonable, if it's not crazy like Toronto, if it's like under 400, where your income can make sense in future, like if your rent income can cover your expenses after you leave, still I would recommend buying, because with the inflation, no matter where you're moving, most likely you'll be moving into a city where there are jobs, good jobs. But if you know you're going to move within month or two or a couple of months, then maybe it doesn't make sense. What are the disadvantages of corporations? Good question. Good question, Arpan. So one disadvantage I can see is, so before I share the disadvantages, I see 15 people live, but I only see 10 thumbs ups. Guys, please help me. If you like the content only, hit that thumbs up. Don't just take the content for free. It won't digest in your stomach. Just give it back. So yeah, there are disadvantages, definitely. For example, let's say the number one disadvantage is your corporation need money to maintain it. So you have to open it, which will cost you, couple of $100 or $1,000, and you have to file taxes every year on corporation and personal. So that means you're going to pay extra money for corporation taxes. And then getting the mortgages, that's another challenge. Especially if you're buying residential properties on corporation, getting a mortgages become a little challenging. So that's another one. What else? And then if you want all the money that you're making in that corporation, you're going to take as a dividend. That means nothing left on the corporation. So pretty much, if you are not making more than you need, most likely corporation might not make sense because you're not saving anything for taxes. So what I mean by that, let me explain a little bit clearly. So for example, right now in my situation, I'm making more than 100,000 a year personally, and on my corporation, that's making another 10 to 15,000. Let's say if I don't have that on corporation, I have it all on my personal, and my total income now is 115,000, and I need all the 115,000 for my living, for my lifestyle. So in that case, like I'm not really leaving any money for future. Then probably for me it doesn't make any difference in terms of I'm not saving anything whether I have a corporation or personal. On corporation, I'm just paying extra maintenance fees. Whereas if the other case, I have the same income, but I only need 50,000 for my living expenses, and I can save the rest of the money in the corporation and just pay 12% interest rate and use that for my investments. So defer the taxes for future. Now it makes sense because I save more money on taxes. So it really depends on personal situation, but definitely there are disadvantages of corporation. Love Preet, thank you, brother. Sorry, I should not say brother because Lovepreet, I don't know, I'm confused whether it's a girl name or boy name. If I'm wrong, sorry, forgive me. 17 watching 14. Thank you, Rabia. Thank you for hitting everyone. Guys, hit the thumbs up button, lift the finger. Just do yourself a favor for taking this free content. How many years to refinance on low interest rate so I can refinance again without any fees? So, good question. If you're intentional from the beginning, there are lenders who can refinance you without any penalty. You have to find them. So you don't have to wait more than 3 4 months. You can, if you, so right now I'm working with CABC. They said I can refinance within after 3 months without any penalty. So like that, there are lenders. But if you don't want to pay any penalty, if you already own a house, ask your lender, would they charge any penalty if you refinance? So that's one way, finding the right lenders. That's why, guys, once, a lot of people tell me like they only ask me about the rates. Rate is not the only deciding factor when you're choosing a mortgage like bank or lender to buy a property. Okay, I am like your little brother Aditya, still an international student. Awesome, awesome, buddy. Um, I'm glad you're joining, learning about real estate while you're a student. I'm actually gonna make a series of video about my journey from student to till the day. So it's gonna be a title called Indian Student in Canada series. So watch out for that. If you're a student, that will really give you a bigger picture on how to navigate through different stages while you're a student, just to give you more hope. So awesome, little brother, congratulations. Going back to the questions, Manny, cap rates are really low in BC. What would you consider? Would you consider out of your province for better rates? I mean, Manny, it really depends on your personal financial situation. What I mean by that, let's say if you're sitting on a lot of money, for you the cap rate doesn't make any difference, but the market is super solid market, even though you have cap rates less, but you know that there will be always renters, there will be always income coming in. So now you're making your money in that mortgage pay down and over the period market appreciation. But if you're a small guy like me who are just starting out, every penny is important. Making that cash flow is really important, because if something goes wrong with the market, you want to survive, you want to have a better rates, then obviously it does make sense to look out of the province. I was fortunate to have the good market in my city, and still in Windsor there is like solid appreciation and solid cash flow. That's why I'm still investing in Windsor. But after 2 years or 3 years, when this might, I don't think it will be like this forever, because a lot of people moving into Windsor. So when that lot of people moving into Windsor, I think it's gonna the price is gonna go more and more. So then maybe I might look out of the town. So you have to, if you're in my shoe, I will do in future. Eagerly waiting for it, bro. Awesome. Probably in a couple of weeks, not too long ago. Actually, I'm just in the process of shooting those videos. How many rental can I buy on 100,000 income on notice of assessment, as my principal house is 600,000? Bro, I cannot give you an answer with that question because there are so many things will be involved. How much credit cards you have, how much money you used, how much is your car payments. So literally, all I would say, sit down with the mortgage agent, and even if you have a principal resident that is 600,000, but you have 20% down, then there are lenders who will lend you even if your personal income already maxed out, but you're going to make income from the rental property. So they consider your income and the rental income, and they'll qualify you for that mortgage. So there are lenders who will take 100% of the income as your income and make you qualify. So there are lenders who will qualify you if you have 20% down, no matter what's your debt ratio. If you have a good credit score, if you didn't leverage yourself too badly, and if you're buying a cash flowing property. That's why cash flowing property is another really important element. Desi student to Canadian realtor would be a good title. Huh, I would be thinking about it. Thank you, Dheeraj. That's a good title, but it will be one of the video in the title in this whole series. Desi student to Canadian realtor. But I'm not just a realtor, I'm also an investor. So I want to cover that topic as well. Love that. But I'm going to use that title for making another video. I love that. If a lot of people moving into Windsor, there are top 5 jobs beside guys driving trucks, ladies working as nurse in US. What are the top 5 jobs? So I think Windsor is not growing because of the jobs. Windsor economy still sucks. Windsor doesn't have that many jobs still. FCA just recently announced 2,000 more jobs. I think I can, let me find this article. So Windsor, like in Windsor, mostly the jobs are like government sector. Still, the automotive industry is the major what do you call it? Major job bank. Also, like day to day, convenience stores, all these like small business owners, like small businesses, those are also add up to pretty good chunk for the jobs. And self-employed people, and people who are retired, people who are working in Detroit. Of course, that's small percentage, but Windsor is still not a strong city for economy. It's just because people who have option to work from home or option to be self-employed, or retired or retiring or coming with heavy chunk of money from Toronto, Vancouver, who don't want to work anymore. They just have money. They want to spend the rest of the life. They are the one who is moving in. How to magically come up with 20% down if I have no loan, no 20% down, but wants to use JV partner either, but don't want to use it. Brother. So you're like, I don't want to do any work, but I want people to pay me money. What can I tell you? Maybe I can tell you, look for people who can give you vendor take back. Find the sellers who is willing to hold the mortgage for you, whatever the percentage that you need. If you have only 5% money, then look for the sellers who can lend, like, hold the mortgage for the rest of the 95% of the value of the property. That could be one option, or get the private money. Those are the 2 options I can think of. I love that question, man. You don't. JV partners or borrow money from your parents, or sell one, or refinance your property if you have a property, if you have equity sitting on it, or if you sell one of your asset that if you already made your money. So there are many ways to come up with that money. Arthur, I have my own house right now. If I put this house on rent and go away and live somewhere myself on renting, now bank consider my house as a liability or a cash flowing property? Good question. Bank will consider as a income producing property because now it's making money. I don't know if it's cash flowing or not. If it is making cash flow, yes, it's an income producing property. Now you can re-qualify again for another property. Yes, they consider as an income property because you already left the house. You're renting somewhere else. Yes, for sure. Any tax implications, tips for owning a multifamily property that will be owner occupied? Good question. Good question. I was doing house hacking on my first property, duplex. So, first of all, I'm not an accountant. Disclosure, I'm just giving tips what I know. A random guy on YouTube just to protect my ass. You don't know. I don't want you to sue me later on for giving the tips. So, just my opinion, my personal thoughts, and what I read. So, first of all, when you're owning a multifamily, especially you're owner occupied, that means whatever the percentage of the unit that you're occupying, that you're renting can be, you can will be like deductible for your expenses. All the expenses will be deductible for that portion. So that means you have to clearly have a Google Drive folder and clearly have the income and expenses for those units. So personal expenses will not be considered as deductibles, but all the expenses that you spend on your rental unit. So you have 4 units, you're living in 1 unit. That means 75% of your property is rented. So all the expenses that come from that rental units, like your insurance, your property tax, your water bill, and everything divided by 75% will become your deductible for your income, because you're making, let's say you're making 3,000 income from those 3 units, and you have, let's say, $1,000 expenses, but the $1,000 is in total of 4 units. So divided by, like, doing the 75% of it will become your expense of your property. So which is $750. So 3,000 minus $750, your net income becomes $2,250. So you gotta document those details, like, expenses, and even if you have some personal expenses on your unit, maybe put on your other unit. Sneaky way. But don't tell that I told you that to you. I'm just kidding. Man, here Canada government is very strict, and they track everything. So just be careful, be authentic. Don't try to get into legal issues. They can screw you up badly if you do that. How to know if there is positive equity in my property? Do I have to get evaluation, or lenders get it evaluated? Easy way is, if you're not 100% sure, like, simple answer. There are many online applications nowadays give you evaluation. Of course, not 100% accurate. And there are agents. Whoever the agent you bought the property from, just ask him, hey, I'm just curious, what's my property value? Most of the agents are happy to help you, to give you comparables, like what's the market area, how much properties are selling for. And if you want to really get accurate, you can pay an appraiser. Appraisal companies will appraise your property. Of course, the agents cannot appraise that. Like, officially appraising, we cannot do that. But appraisal companies can do that for you. So you just go pay them like $300. They'll give you appraisal value. Or if you just, for sure in that area properties went up, then go to the lender. Hey, I know for sure my property went up. I think this would be the value. But your best bet is to do the appraisal value before, so that you can tell your lender confidently, and they can reappraise the property for a better price. How do one know that if there will be positive cash flow before buying rentals? Simple, Rabia. You got to collect all the data. You got to collect all the data of the property. What is the property income? If it's vacant, what is the potential income? Now, what is the potential expenses? Property tax, insurance. Do you have to pay any utilities? And is there any lawn care? Are you going to manage the property by yourself? What would be the area vacancy rate? So you calculate all these things. Income minus expenses equals to cash flow. That's it. Income minus expenses equals to cash flow. What are the expenses you need to do? Ask your realtor. What are the expenses? If you don't know the expenses, you can find out the taxes on the city website. You can find out taxes on the listing. You can find out the insurance. You can call up some insurance companies, or you can get a quote online. How to know how much utilities the property will have? You can ask the current owner how much he's getting, and then you can approximately take that as a approximate number. So there are many ways, but simple funda, what's the income? What's the expenses? Income minus expenses equal to cash flow. Is there any condos in Windsor that are freehold? No condo fee? Bro, first of all, condo, most likely, as far as I know, condo means when there is a condo corporation involved, that means the corporation will have some fee. So technically, if my understanding is correct, what you're asking is you want a unit in an apartment building or something that there is no corporation. If that's what you're asking, I'm not aware of any. But if you're asking a semi-detached, detached, or townhouse that is not a condo, like there is no corporation where no fees, which is freehold, yes, there are many semi-detached, many townhouses in Windsor. Any real estate company who doesn't charge 5% or 4% commission, so one can save money, and will buyer's agent come if listed with these companies to sell my house? Rabia, that's a very good question, because as the first time when I was selling my first property, I thought myself, man, why the fuck I have to give all this 4% commission to the real estate agent? But here's the thing. If you're good at finding the value, if you're good at marketing the property, if you're good at presenting your property well, yes, of course, you can do that on a lot of websites. You can go post do a nice marketing on your property. You show yourself, you do all the showings. If you're good at negotiation, you do all the negotiations for yourself and all those things. At the end, you'll get based on your skills. But do I reduce my commission to sell your property? No, because I know for sure I can get you way better than the market value. So good real estate agents, I'm not saying all real estate agents, very good one who understand how to market the property well to get the best value, they are the one is well worth you giving them that 2% or 3%, because they're going to get you more than the market value. If they market well, trust me, that it's proven. There are many ways, but only good one. So you have to pick the right one. So is there anything? Yes, you can always do that. Hire a good photographer, do a proper staging, clean the property well, post the ads everywhere, post the ads if possible on Freecom, post the ads, pay that fees, whatever the fees. And whenever there is showings, keep the place clean. Let the people, give them a good service, make sure that they look at the property with a peace of mind. And when they bring an offer, make sure you professionally negotiate. Don't get personalized and say, "Oh, you're gonna give me that low? I'm not gonna take it. Fuck you." No, they're gonna worry, because sometimes buyers bring a low offer, especially when they see private sale. Buyers love to throw lowball offers because they don't have an agent. The agent knows the market data, whereas the buyer doesn't know much. So if I sell a house which I reported 25% of its rental income in previous year, with 25% of the profits earned out of the property after selling get taxed, Vijay, yes, you will get taxed if you have a rental income on the property. But how much percentage? And there are ways. There are, like, you show certain things for your deductible. There you'll see certain things that are depreciated. So there are so many elements that goes into it. I can say is one answer, yes, but always have a good accountant who can tell you how he can get you the maximum money. Oh, I missed some questions. Okay, sorry. Let me go back. Let me see. How do you know someone positive? That's done. Commission part done. What are the current vacancy rates in Windsor? Okay, current data. I think I'm trying to make another video on that. The vacancy data. I'm gathering at the moment. I couldn't find anything for this year. I couldn't get it. But I know for sure one thing I can say is, like, definitely higher than the before COVID. Before COVID, the vacancy rate, mm, I have to find, actually, I will get the clear data for this last 6 months one. But before COVID, the vacancy rate in Windsor was lower than 3%. Student rental, lower than 1%. But now the student rental is, I'm pretty sure, more than 10%. And family, maybe 5, 6%. I'm just guessing because I know there are less renters because of the COVID, less movement. But I don't have accurate data. I'll work on that and I'll get back to you guys. I'll make a video probably next month or so. Are there management companies that take care of your single property in Windsor? If you put it on rent, how much do they charge? Every property management company is different. There are lenders, there are property management who charge from 6% to 10%, depending on whom you choose, depending on what services they provide you. And my property management, I don't manage my properties because I'm not good at that. I would rather give it to a professional. So that's what I'm doing. So my manager charges me 7% because I have multiple units and I have different services. So go shop around, find the good one. If you're working with one of our team, me or my team, obviously we can share our contacts. For contractors, for trades and everything, we share our contacts with our clients. For a tax point of view, is it better to include utilities in the rent? I mean, it really depends on, at the end, personally, I would not prefer to have utilities until unless if it's, I cannot escape with it. Like I have a property that I cannot escape. Because if yes, from a tax point of view, you have expenses, but from the income point of view, whatever the income you're making, at the end, it's the net income you have to care about. So whatever the tax point of view, you're going to pay the taxes on the net income. So you have to see where you're making higher net income. But by putting it inclusion, most likely tenants try to take it advantage. They're going to use it. But if you can creatively seal them off, with the capping and all those things, yeah, it really personal choice. I would care about net income. Top 5 sites to give ads for rental properties. Best one, Kijiji. Second best one, Facebook Marketplace. Third one, Craigslist. I don't know if Craigslist still works, but I most likely use the Kijiji and Marketplace. Those are the top 2 actually. I cannot even say the other 3. I don't know other 3. Personal connections, that's a big thing. MLS, people do list on the realtor website. If I sell the house, okay, that already answered. I'm gonna stay for another 1 minute, then I'll try to hop out. So yeah, I will leave you guys. Have a wonderful evening. Are there management companies that are done? Missed some questions about how do you manage your properties? Any tips you want to share? I'm gonna make let's talk about the management tips in the next video. I'm actually gonna make a video on 5 tips that I strongly do. It's gonna take some time, so I'm gonna hop out in a minute. So let's answer that in the next video. Do you follow up any red flags that you want to mention? Do you do follow-ups and any red flags that you want to mention? Follow-ups regarding, there are many red flags when you're working with a management. You have to do certain things. So I'm going to talk about that in next one. What is your thoughts on Mada? I hate it. I heard so bad reviews about Mada. Again, that's my personal reviews I got. Follow-ups regarding property manager. Yes, 100% you have to do follow-ups, no question. At the end, you manage them. When you're managing the tenants, is different. You need to know the laws, you need to know what to talk, what to not talk. Whereas you're managing the management company, because it's a business, it's easy. So you manage them, but 100% you have to manage them. You have to give them a clear guidelines. Every 6 months, I need, these things verified. Every 3 months, I need these things verified. So you need to stay on top of their head to get things done. Who is Mada? Mada Management Company. I don't know who is Mada. Guys, that's all for today. We'll see you in the next live. Same time, same day, Wednesday. And any questions, let me know in other, comment on the community section. I will try to answer before. If not, we'll see you guys on the next live. And thank you for hopping on. If you still haven't hit that thumbs up button, please do so. That helped me. That's a written favor, guys. Always, before you ask for help, you have to give. So the only way to you can give me is the hit that thumbs up button and share the and hit that subscribe button. And have a wonderful day.